Hi everyone, it's Coach's Corner time as we get set for week 9 of the high school football season. It's hard to believe, but the season is winding down, and for our Wildcats this week, a trip to Bartlesville, Custer Field, to take on the Bartlesville Bruins. And what a 2 weeks it's been for the Ponca City Wildcats after a great victory over Enid 2 weeks ago. Ponca City followed it up with one of the great wins at Sullen Stadium. You'd have to go back many years to find a bigger win for our Ponca City Wildcats than Thursday night's win over Booker T. Washington High School, 26-23. Coach, congratulations. I know people have said that a lot, and you give credit to the players and your assistant coaches, but for this football program, that's the greatest thing that could have happened.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I'm telling you what, the Enid one was the Enid one was special too. I mean, we come back in the fourth quarter, but this one we come out from the opening kickoff and really execute a game plan on almost all three facets of the football game. It was a very, very complete win. You know, it took a team effort to win this thing. Again, though, I mean, great player efforts from especially from several guys that helped seal the deal. But I'm telling you what a special night.
Is there anything, Coach, that you can point to that has happened to this football team from the beginning of the season till now that maybe directly results in, as opposed to losses, wins?
Do you say that's helped us to get the winning started?
Are the guys doing anything different than they did?
No. I mean, practice-wise, I mean, we still have good practice sometimes, but we're becoming. The practices have the practices have become more consistent and better. But honestly, I'm telling you what, I think there's just a group of guys that were just sick and tired of losing, and have just really put the pressure on their shoulders and have made plays in critical times. I can tell you what, Nick Hamilton, Jake Didlake, and Cole Nemo, and really our offensive line, the whole defense, really here lately has just really stepped up. But I will take, I think Nick Hamilton's performance in that Enid victory really it was gutsy, and I think the team has kind of taken his lead.
They've fed off of that.
Yes, they have fed off of that. I would point to that moment as a changing moment.
Well, you play games and you lose, but you're playing at a level, and you know that if you just one player raises that level. And I think the Enid game and his performance, and then it raises the level of every other player.
Sure. And like I said, there's several guys right there with him, but Nick really sparked us, just a strong will to win. And it took someone to really spark it and lead it. And I will say Nick Hamilton, and like I said, and Jake Didlake as well, and Cole Nemo really helped us get it started. And then like you said, players fed off of it. The defense this past week was one of the best performances I've seen in a long time on that side of the ball at any place I've been at in the last several years. I mean, they just played a great job and great game, and you got to give their hats off. I mean, that was a tough offense, a bunch of good players, but they had to defend all night, and our defense did a great job. One
of the reasons that I've been telling people I think this team is winning now is, Coach, early in the season we had some games that we lost, and we talked about the fact that we got off to bad starts, and we didn't come out of the gate, and then at the end of the game when we had a chance, we were too far behind. And in particular, the Booker T game is a great example. If you get off to a good start, which we did, it's much easier to finish, and I think that's one of the things that we're playing better early in the game, giving ourselves a chance.
Oh yeah. I'm with you. I think the psychological part of is how we start. That's hurt us at times, and then there's just been some there's been some execution issues on offense in the red zone at times this year that have cost us, and then some giving up some big plays on defense. So look at what we've done well lately. We've been scoring about every time we get inside the red zone, and we've been eliminating the big play on defense. So that has allowed that to help out quite a bit.
I had one caller on a question on one of our call-in shows, and they said, well, the opponents. And to a degree, I will tell you that Enid probably is the team that has struggled the most in our district. But I still think there are teams that Enid could beat on any given night, and Booker T absolutely not. I think Booker T's probably as talented, maybe not quite as talented as Union and Owasso, but to say that they couldn't beat any one of the other 6 teams is wrong. That's a very good team. So I don't think it's the quality of competition. I think it's just that the Ponca City Wildcats, you use the term sick and tired of losing. I think they just elevated their play.
Yeah, I would disagree with whoever your caller called on that. I think sports teams do get better. I think that, that whole adage of it's not how you start but how you finish, or can someone get better from week 2 or 3 to week 7, 8? Is that gap, or do you just have to stay bad the whole time? I disagree with that. You see it in the NFL every year. I mean, look at the New York Giants last year. My point is that we are a better football team. I would love to play a lot of the teams we've had in the earlier part of the season again right now, and I think there'd be different outcomes.
I don't think they'd like that.
No. So I think we are. I think a lot of it is we are getting better. Booker T's a good football team, and really Enid, like you said, Enid's not bad either.
Absolutely, but here's the part of it that really is interesting, Coach. And in particular, high school football. You get to week 7, and your team is 0-6, and the odds of making the playoffs go way down. It wouldn't be the first time that a team has gone, let's get ready for winter sports. What have we got really to play for? And your team didn't do that. Something happened, and your team said, okay, we've got 3 games we've got to win. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes the ship sinks, but this time it didn't. Your guys rose to the occasion.
I think if there's one thing that comes out of this season, that's probably the most thing I'm ever proud about, is the fight that our guys had. I mean, you're right. It would have been very actually normal for a team to, after, when you hit like that week 7 or so, to just say, you know what, let's get ready for other things. Man, not these guys. And you're right. I'll probably literally take that as one of the best things that's happened this year.
Maybe in your career,
yes.
It might be one of the most proud things. Keep in mind that just a couple of weeks ago, our ball club went to Owasso and played a team that could win the 6A state championship. Wouldn't surprise me a bit. And got beat badly over there. And you think about, from that point, that Friday night when you guys had to get on that bus and come back, to a team that is in the playoff hunt just 2 weeks later. It's really quite remarkable, isn't it?
Yes, and I agree with you. And I honestly, you're right. I think you talk about a changing moment. I think it was the Owasso. That halftime was very charged. I can say that. And we came out in that second half, played Owasso. We really, honestly, and I don't want to say it'd be the woulda, coulda, but really Sand Springs technically, I think, could have been the start of this run, not Enid. I think we actually did a lot of things good in the Sand Springs game. We just, again, a few things just didn't go our way in the red zone on offense and some big plays on defense. If we eliminate that, I think we're right there with Sand Springs in that ball game. But point is, we started playing better even in that game, and I think we've continued on. And Phil, I hope we continue on in week 9 here.
Well, the recipe for winning Ponca City is shown. You get a defense or a special teams touchdown, which we've done the last 2 games. You play good defense, and your offense does enough to get the ball in the end zone a couple of times, and that's exactly what the Wildcats did. They used a short field a couple of times against Booker T, and then I don't think we can talk about the grittiness of the defensive play against the Hornets. I know they gave up some big plays, and people, sometimes they only look at that. But if you looked at that first half of the ball game, this is a team that's going to score 40 against a lot of teams in one half. And then we had them at 8 points at halftime, leading 19-8. You had to go to the locker room and feel like, okay, if we can just come out and duplicate the second half, we're going to walk away with a victory.
Oh, yeah. The defense, like you said, started off great. I mean, the whole night. You're right. Booker T is very explosive in several areas. We knew we had to stop their off-tackle running game and stop their short little quick passes to the perimeter. And then obviously be ready for some big deep passes. And really, besides, we stopped their off tackle game. We controlled their short passing game. And by really we got beat cleanly one time. Other than that, it was always a kind of miraculous catch. A couple of times our guys were still there and they made a great catch. Absolutely. And that was all the offense they really had. Besides that big deep play, the pass, and and also another play they had at the in the red zone there, where they broke a tackle and scored. But other than that, we were right there. Obviously, 5 interceptions. I think there was probably 1 or 2 more interceptions that we also could have had there. So our whole front 7 on defense, again, stopped the run. Our secondary defended their pass, and like you said, they were scoring quite a many points from the teams they played this year, and I think they still will the rest of the year. Booker T's a really good team, and they just our defense just really played a good game.
Ponca City had all those turnovers, though, takeaways, a fumble and then 5 pass interceptions, and win at 26-23. Coach, I'm not sure you and I thought realistically we were going to say the word playoff when we did this show a couple of weeks ago, but as we sit here recording our program before Friday night's show, the Ponca City-Bartlesville game, if you look at all the scenarios, the most probable scenario, and again, everybody, Ponca City, Booker T is the reason you play these games. But the most probable scenario is the winner of the Bartlesville-Ponca game is going to go in the 4th spot of our district.
It's looking like, it's almost the more sound thing to happen is the winner of this gets the 4th spot. I mean, it'll take some monumental shakeups for the winner of this game not to get into that 4th spot.
Stillwater would have to beat Owasso for this.
Sure, someone would have to. There'd be people have to beat Owasso and Union for this for us not to get it, for the winner of this game not to get into that 4th spot.
What does that do to the team? I mean, obviously this has been a pretty loosey-goosey group of guys that I see anyway, and now all of a sudden, week 9, guys, if we win this one, we may be playing week 11. Does it change any for you, your coaching staff, and your team?
You're right. Our guys don't really. It's kind of funny that I haven't seen them get real nervous all year long. And maybe that's something. But anyway, that's I think we'll approach this week like we do any other week. I know that's cliche at coach talk, but we'll do what we do. What we've been doing. We'll have a scout report and walk through and run and lift a day, and then we'll have Tuesday and Wednesday will be our 2 big practice days, and Thursday a quick walkthrough, and then Friday go get on the bus and go play. We'll be ready. By this time of the year, our defense has seen it probably most everything, and offensively we've installed and have about as much offense as that we need to use. Don't get me wrong, we'll throw some wrinkles out there and things like that, but our guys we're ready to go. We'll treat this week like any other week, and you're right, it'll actually be easy. The talk the playoffs. Now psychologically should energize our practices. They should be pumped up. I would be shocked if we weren't ready to go Friday night.
Well, we do want to mention one thing to our fans that'll be traveling over. 7 o'clock is the kickoff. They've moved the time up 30 minutes, so the kickoff is at 7 o'clock.
Please come out
over in Bartlesville, and no matter what happens now, Coach, I hope people look back that Coach Allen, his staff, his boys, his players, they did some great things in this year. Playoffs, no playoffs. This is still going to end up being a very, very good season.
Sure. Thanks. It's I'm so proud of my coaching staff and the players. And you're right, just how we've kept fighting. And obviously it's been a fun couple of weeks. And, let's make it 3 weeks in a row.
Very good. We hope to see you in Bartlesville. Let's get out and support the Wildcats and cheer them on to victory Friday night at Bartlesville at 7 o'clock. For Coach Allen, Phil Turney on Coach's Corner.